Happy Saturday, guys. So I just wanted to get on here to let you guys know how my Friday went. So Friday I'm doing my deliveries and I go to one of the regular customers I usually deliver to. He's a much heavier guy, and he uses a wheelchair because he's that big and his feet are so swollen that he barely can walk, you know what I'm saying? So when I went to his house, I buzzed in to get buzzed in. I'm buzzing, and there's a camera. You can see me when I'm buzzing in through the camera. So I'm like, I buzzed twice, and so I'm like, oh, he might not be home because I wasn't getting busted, and I know that sometimes I'll give him chance to get to the buzzer, so he can let me in. So these two women were coming out, and so I go in the elevator, and he leaves the door unlocked so that, me or the PCA or the nurses that he has coming in, we can get in. So I opens the door, and I walks in, and he's sitting there on a chair, and he's in front of his computer. And so as I'm walking towards him or whatever, the first thought when I saw the computer and everything was, oh, he must be on a Zoom call or something like that or whatever, talking to maybe the doctors or whatever. So I walk to him, and then he goes, these are his exact words, I'm telling you right now. Oh, he says, I didn't want to buzz you in because I didn't want to disrupt my chess game. I was like, what? So I throws the bag on the table like, the audacity, how dare you? And then he gonna say to me, are you okay? Because I threw the bag on the table and I'm looking at him in disgust because I was disgusted with that statement. And I'm like, what? I said, yes, I'm okay. And so I gives him the tablet so he can sign it. And he signs it and he's looking at me all weird. And I'm looking at him like, what's your problem? You know what I'm saying? And so I takes the tablet and then I'm walking away. And so as I'm walking away, now I didn't say bye or none of that, whatever. Like I usually say bye or have a great day, whatever the case may be. I kept it moving. So he got the nerve to say, have a great holiday weekend. I slightly turns my head and I keeps it moving. And I walks right out the door. I swings the door open real hard. And then I just let the door close on its own. And I kept it moving. The gall, the audacity that, unless he was going to get his fat ass up and go get that prescription himself, he better not ever do that again. But thankfully, I didn't let him get me, bothered by that. I just looked. But he had the nerve to look at me like, what's wrong with her? As though he act like what he said was okay. He really act like what he said was okay. Like I was going to, oh, okay, well, you was going to have me standing outside with your prescription and waiting until you got ready to buzz me in. Is that what was going to happen? If it wasn't for the women that opened the door for me, I either would have had to call the pharmacy and have the pharmacy try to reach you or whatever the case may be, or he would have had to get a reschedule. You know what I'm saying? But he just felt, comfortable. And he said it so nonchalantly like, oh, I didn't want to disrupt my chess game to let you in. What? Well, you must not want your prescription. How about that? But I was just like, the gall. But yeah, the nerve of some people, sometimes you cannot let people's ignorance and maybe even sometimes their rudeness or whatever get the best of you. Sometimes you gotta learn to pick and choose your battles. And that, to me, that was not enough for me to get my day upset. That was not enough for me to be all, well, you that. I know one thing, if he does it again, then I'm gonna have to have words with him. And I may have to bring it to the pharmacy's attention. But yeah. And then he had the nerve to look at me like, what's wrong with you? What? Wow. But anyways, I ain't want nothing but have a great Saturday. And until next time.